Rotorheads with Nick, Sage, and Johnny. Hey everybody, welcome back. Episode 24 of Rotorheads here. This is actually like 24 Redux, right? Because we took a stab at this one. We took a stab at this one before.
People don't have to know.
Of course, we got to show them how the sausage is made. You know, man.
I thought we
it's
agreed on letting people think that we are actually on schedule.
It's alright. By now, if they haven't figured out that we're not on schedule, then, well, it's their own issue.
What's a schedule?
Right?
At this point. Sorry, at this point. Oh man. Well, so what have you guys been up to? Jonas, you got something new to play with, right? So what have you been up to?
Let me think. Last time we recorded, the E700 wasn't actually here, right?
No, not yet. It was.
But
so
it is
that
now.
Yeah, that thing arrived. So thank you, Sage. I got it all together and wired up.
Yeah, in like 3 hours.
3 hours to install the Vibra-Link satellite.
Well, yeah, I mean 3 hours to do everything else, and then another 3 hours to figure out where you're going to put your V-Link satellite, and you know.
No, everything else took like 3 days.
It seemed like it fast. It seemed like it went fast. Should have gone fast. Took me 15 minutes to take the damn thing apart.
Point is, it's just the push-pull control mechanism. It puts moving parts everywhere, so it really limits you where you can put your wires. You cannot route them outside because the push-pull ball goes up to 0.5 millimeter away from the frame. Inside you have that huge crank lever thingy moving around the main shaft. The motor is so tight to the frames that you cannot get wires through there either. So yeah, it was pretty much a lot of improvising, using extensions. Really, really terrible to wire, but I mean, I like the mechanics. Everything went together quite well from what I had to put together. I mean, stuff mostly was pre-assembled, even though I took the entire rotor head apart because half the screws were not Loctited. And yeah, I mean, it's quite a nice helicopter. I mean, the tail ratio is low, obviously, and I'm not a friend of torque tubes that are driven by gears. But yeah, it's already flying. I took it out for a spin in my backyard and flipped it around a little.
Some high quality blades.
I also had only 105s on the tail, got rail 1/16 in the meantime. And low RPM flipping it around, it really felt like a Logo 690 with a weaker tail, pretty much. I have yet to discover the insanely good cyclic geometry that people are praising so much. I mean, the geometry is great. You get like very little angle error of the linkages because they basically don't tilt at all. But yeah, we really gotta see if I can actually feel a difference to other models. I mean, if the servo geometry eventually flies the way it looks like, this is probably gonna be the most linear and crisp helicopter of all time, although I did not particularly like the size of the dampeners in the rotor head. They could have gone with something bigger there, like the Logo 700 does.
Well, just about all the aluminum parts on the E700 could be, I mean, and not to say the dampers are aluminum, but just the whole rotor head and everything is fairly petite.
Yeah, they are using M2 threads on most ball joints, which I find critical, to say the least. Like, M2 should not be what transfers control forces on a 700, but I assume it works, so we are all in.
Well, I mean, yeah. It's going to live less margin, but it's still got probably plenty of margin.
hopefully.
I mean, just think about how overbuilt some of these things are.
Yeah, I mean, how many have you seen break apart like that? Or
Yeah.
it's usually something else that'll fail first.
Exactly.
Tail gears. Oh yeah, I found the speed up tail gears in freaking Australia. The last set in the world that was being sold on eBay. Ordered them
fresh
for
off the Barbie.
€26.
No, that's Austria.
That just got real offensive real fast here.
No, from down under.
No,
for the unlikely case that Harry listens to this. Hi, Harry. Greet the kangaroos from me. Yeah, they should be here like next month or so. And then this is probably gonna be either dedicated.
That long? You ordered those like a week and a half ago, didn't you?
It was like €5 shipping.
Like yesterday or 2 days ago.
Oh, okay, that's not as far as I thought then.
Well, it doesn't change the distance it has to travel, Nick.
You're right.
And hey, I wasn't finished yet. Yeah, but if it turns out to be a flop, or if anything breaks, it's just gonna be replaced with a Logo 690. And also, stop talking over me.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry.
Yeah, if anything breaks or it just sucks in flight and I don't like it, gonna be replaced by a 690. Yay.
Yeah, there you go. Cool. You just want another 690.
That's correct. I fucking love that helicopter. Was probably the best thing I've ever my flying style has never been as good with the 700 as with the 690 back then. The 690 was just limited in power, and I actually had to think about what I want to fly with it because it was limited to 5.4 kilowatts peak, unlike my 700, which can do anything I want.
Yeah.
Maybe I should buy nitro.
Put a cosmic in it. That'll limit you.
Shots fired.
Okay,
fired at myself.
Yeah. I didn't say where they were aimed.
I was just writing it towards everyone else so they don't get really offended that I said that.
If people get offended over people bashing cosmics, then they're fucking fanboys.
Whoa, language, child. Please, calm down.
Okay,
so, is that it for your week, or what else?
Nick, go ahead. Nick,
so,
please.
My flying, I finally got out and was flying this week. My dad was back from Florida, so me and him shot out to the field, and it was actually a really windy day. It was like 20-mile-per-hour winds, I think. So we just did a couple flights and then called it a day from there, but finally got his 550 back up in the air and got rid of that stupid-ass tail shake. Ended up being the MKS 669 servo. It's a piece of junk, basically.
Oh, couldn't be. It's an MKS, though.
Yeah, well,
dude,
replaced it with another MKS, a bigger one, a 9.
I could have told you from the start that MKS tail servos are
but,
not
like,
good.
the thing is you didn't, so rip.
Well, you never told me it was an MKS, so...
Oh, but he did, though.
Yeah, I did, though.
Definitely did.
Definitely. I even sent you pictures of it. Good try, though. So anyway, replaced it with another MKS servo, a 990, and now it holds great. So,
but why would you replace an MKS with another MKS if MKS is no good?
Because I have them on my 700s and they work great. And I have them in everything else, they work great. So
wow.
I've never had a problem with an MKS servo. I just think it's funny because they're one of those brands that as soon as you say you had a failure, you have
it's like, oh my God.
The entire hobby comes out of the woodwork and goes, "Oh no way, it's an MKS. They're the best."
It was your fault. You made it fail.
And you know what the funny thing is? MKS.
No, we don't. Explain.
MKS people always claim MKS are the best servos ever and KST are clones of MKS. Well, guess what? MKS buys parts for their servos at KST.
No, they don't buy servos at KST. They all buy them from China. It's the same freaking company. Let's face it.
No,
Same thing with Expert and everyone else. It's all the same shit.
Apparently it actually is not. Apparently KST is an extra company.
Hey. Anyway, now you're getting us really off topic again here. So yeah, fixed the helicopter, went to the flying field, and that was that. Sage, what did you do?
Thanks, Stein.
Well, last week, let's see. Last week I got all the bits and pieces I needed to make a backup starter. Since I already had the starter sitting around, I just needed a battery and a starting wand, basically. And so I ordered the SAB wand and got that, and a little 4S pack, and I went down to Hermiston last weekend, and I took the nitro down there and just did some flying. It was one of the one of the last real nice days of the year. It was 70 degrees down there. There was like maybe 1-2 mile an hour little tiny breeze blowing, just almost nothing. And so it was nice. I burned like a half gallon of nitro, and my dad, for his birthday last month, I got him a mini Apprentice airplane, foamy, and we had been kind of waiting for a windless day for him to be able to kind of get it up in the air and get flying with it and stuff, and so we got that done too. Yeah, had a lot of fun. Just my brother came over. He lives in Portland, so that's like 4 hours on the other side of the state from me, and he came over too, and he flew a flight. I think he flew a flight on the Mini Apprentice as well. So yeah, it was an all around fun day. I was doing my last flight of the day, and my dad's had this had this little airplane for like 3 weeks. And before this airplane, last year he had an airplane, like a little Sport Cub, tiny little thing that he started on. And so he's flown maybe four or five flights on this Mini Apprentice. And I'm flying the nitro and just trying to do my best to kind of keep it in a box in front of me. The field that's attached to their house is, I would say it's maybe like 150 meters maximum to a row of trees that's like, and that's
that is
on that
plenty
like
of space for flying.
edge of their property. Yeah, I mean it
I mean,
is,
for someone that's newer, it's tight.
Yeah, I mean it's plenty of space for the airplane that he's got. I tend to fly really big, and I tend to fly really far away too, though. So I mean, I am almost always leave 70 feet between me and the helicopter unless I'm landing, pretty much. I mean, I just don't fly that close. And so to me, that feels like kind of a small space because I'm flying in almost only half of it, right? But anyway, so I'm just trying to fly around, and I hear my dad just like, wing, 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 a little airplane just take off. And I'm just like, feeling pretty brave, huh? Just gonna go fly your foamy around that big old 90 size helicopter flying around out there. Oh well, nothing bad happened. I mean, he didn't win, no mid-air collision or anything. But I just thought it was funny. It was like, working on that confidence, getting him, flying and confidence in his control inputs and stuff. And he's just like, oh yeah, no worries. I'm not worried about that helicopter out there.
Like if it was on anyone else but your dad, it'd be like, really?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I just thought it was funny. And he did fine. He flew around. I don't know. He's doing pretty good with it. I like to see him get to a point where he could get like he could actually like pick out the airplane that he wants to fly, because he's still just learning, right? So we're picking airplanes based on, do they have the safety features? Do they have like, is it going to be
like
easy for him to
and stuff? Yeah.
Yeah. Is it going to be easy for him to fly, basically? And it'll be fun to get him to the point where that's not the consideration. The consideration is just like, what airframe do you want to build?
Yeah. Like, do you want an extra? Do you want something different?
Yeah. I think he's going to want Warbirds. I think that's
Warbirds.
You know what's coming
Yeah.
to my mind right now?
what.
Why are planes considered easier to fly than helicopters?
I've always wondered
They're
that, dude. You can't
naturally
just
stable.
stop a plane.
Yeah.
You can't just
I mean,
stop
the
a
plane
plane
is gonna
though.
fly away if you don't take action. The helicopter's just gonna hover there.
Yeah.
No, the helicopter will fly away too.
Well, I mean, it depends on what you're talking, but like our models,
Yeah.
like our models with, like, say you have like rescue and auto level and all that stuff. I don't know.
I mean, even then though, like even if you like hit auto level on a helicopter and it's moving fast, it's just gonna level and keep moving fast.
It is. I don't know. I think airplanes really are. They're lower pressure to learn how to fly. I think. I don't know if it's technically really and truly all that much easier. Because
I mean,
think,
I would say it is because you don't have the negative component of it. It's not like you're having to change pitch. It's one throttle setting and that's it.
Yeah.
It's not like you're having to sit here and change pitch. Oh, I'm upside down. What way do I need this? A plane? It's I'm upside down.
Yeah,
Throttle's
but
still wide open.
but
And then
a beginner shouldn't have a helicopter upside down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true.
That's part of the learning
But-
curve, yes, but like learning the basics, just like, can I fly this thing around upright, just tool it around? Yeah, I don't know. Airplanes are easier to learn, even though they don't stop, which is, to me, that's the most counterintuitive thing, is you can't just stop an airplane. You know, if you get in trouble,
I mean,
like,
you can
You can
Well, you
tour,
can.
but
if you're good.
a beginner cannot.
Just pull it into a hover.
yeah,
Yeah.
a beginner can't. You know what I mean? But still, at the
Yeah.
same time, I can tell you with the new safe stuff that they're putting in the airplanes and stuff, that makes them so easy to fly. Like, my
Yeah.
brother's never flown an RC airplane before, and we just, like, we put it in beginner mode and handed it over to him, and he was able to just, like, tool it around. I had a buddy I took out to the field with me, to a club function, and they asked him if he wanted a buddy box, and they put him on, like, I don't remember if it was an apprentice or what, but it was something with, like, safe, and he was literally flying figure eights, like, within 5 minutes, within one battery. He had never flown an RC airplane before.
Yeah, they are. I mean, they're a lot more stable than a helicopter, like especially with the safe and stuff. Now they just like how they're constantly fighting to keep themselves level, and with the airfoils they use on stuff like those, it wants to just stay upright.
Yeah, that's self-leveling planes. Oh well.
Well, I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't know. I really don't. There's no problem. There's no problem with gyro assisting any aircraft. If it makes it easier to fly, it's not a bad thing.
I mean, we use gyros all day long in these,
Yep.
so it's hard to complain about them putting it in a plane.
yeah,
you know,
but
I-
self-leveling is boring again.
Yeah, once we get to the point where, yes, but it's all about choosing the level of tech. We use gyros in our helicopters all the time without them being self-leveling. You can do the same thing in an airplane. You can
Yeah.
have a 3-axis gyro that's basically a flybarless unit for the airplane. All it's going to do is make those tiny corrections to fix any uncommanded, deviation
Yeah.
from what
Most
you're
of
doing.
the flybarlesses out there now will do fixed wing stuff.
Yeah. And it's not
You can fly-
self-leveling. It's the same difference as to what we're doing. It just fixes any uncommanded inputs.
I even flew the old V-bar 5.3 where V-plane wasn't even a thing. I flew it in planes.
Yeah.
I just had the bank switching on the throttle and had 4 banks for like 0 to 25, 25 to 50, 50 to 75, and 75 to 100% throttle, and then map different gains to different throttle positions.
Huh, that's smart.
Yeah, fun times. I mean, it worked very well. And I mean, all the helicopter parameters would basically apply to how the plane flies.
Yeah,
that was
it's
quite interesting.
fairly similar. Yeah, I'm actually thinking about Gropner makes Husky 1800 foam airplane, and it's like a 2.2 meter airplane or something like that, and it's just a big high wing, goofy airplane. And I was thinking about getting one, and it comes with the 16 channel receiver in it, but it doesn't need that. And I have a Gropner 12 channel gyro receiver that'll fly airplanes. I'm thinking about getting it and dropping that in there.
I've thought
don't know.
about throwing a Neo in one of my 100cc flicks, but then I need 2 Neos bound together because I have 3 servos in each wing. So it makes it really difficult, and I don't feel like spending $900 on Neos to make it fly.
No kidding. Wow.
Yeah.
So it has
It'll fly on Spectrum.
3 separate servos in each wing. Not. So
Yeah.
It has 3 separate channels in each wing, is what I mean.
Yeah, that's how I have it set up right now. So in total it's 18. That's why I have a DX18 on it.
So it has
separate.
ailerons and flaps. What else does it have on the wing?
Nope, it's all ailerons. It's all to control the aileron on it.
Then just use a Y cable.
Yeah, then just use a Y cable. You only need one channel to control all the ailerons.
Well, you can't wire because then you can't balance them.
Balance them.
Yeah, you have to actually have them like in the the planes. You have to balance them when they're all working on the same surface.
Yeah.
You have to balance them so they're all push
Oh,
linear.
3 servos on one surface, not 3 servos on 3 surfaces.
Yeah, no, it's
Whoops.
one surface all the way across.
So
So they're all
okay,
controlling
that
the
makes it way
same
more
aileron.
annoying. Yep.
Yeah, so it's really difficult because so my dad's is actually set up. We have to make matching planes basically.
yeah.
His is set up on the DX18 QQ, so it allows you to do 3 separate servos on one surface like that and balance them all.
Ah, okay.
But mine, I have the DX18 regular, the silver one,
Yeah.
and I can only do 2, so I have to have a balance board in there. So I have a balance board in my wing to control 2 of them together, and the one is separate.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's such a pain, like setup and stuff.
Oh, I bet. Wow.
Yeah. Because, yeah, you have to sit there and fight with them all so that they're all linear all the way across the travel.
Yep.
So it's a weird thing to set up. But, yeah, so, like, for me to run Neos, I would need 2 separate Neos, and it's just not worth the setup time.
Oh,
and
yeah,
everything.
definitely not. Definitely
It'd be
not.
cool,
Yeah.
but not worth the trial and error.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, I was going to say, I was like, I do not know more about planes than you, Nick, but what the fuck are you doing?
This is why I fly helicopters. No hassle, no mess, easy as fuck. Done.
You're right. They're definitely easier, like, to just maintenance and everything. But the planes are kind of fun. They're loud and annoying, and I love it.
Also, if you're piloting a helicopter, just buy a new kit. If you're piloting a plane, well, you're shit out of luck.
No, you just buy a new kit.
Yeah.
It's the same thing nowadays.
Same thing.
All the kits are so like ready to build. You just legitimately throw your electronics. It's just like the helicopters.
Wow. I wasn't even aware. I thought you'd at least have to like put some wood stuff together and
there's still plenty of that too.
No, I mean there is those kits, but like if you go out and you buy like a modern day like Extreme Flight Extra or something,
yes,
you maybe have to glue in some surfaces and that's it.
Yeah, okay.
Otherwise, put your stuff in and go.
Yeah,
it's super like simple now.
That's good.
So again, I think that was everyone's days.
Yeah, I think so. So, Nick, you wanted to cover a little bit of upcoming ACURC news? Or Jonas?
Johnny did, definitely.
Jonas.
I don't know the updated news.
Okay, so
go for it.
At the time you're hearing this, Accuracy 2. Actually, at the time we're recording this, it has just been released. So Accuracy 2.0.4 is available on the public branch now. And what we did is we developed a set of 12 new airfoils, I think. Yeah, 12 for all the different rotor blades in the simulator. And these airfoils basically address everything people were complaining about. Every blade that does not use a NACA 0014 airfoil has now a very individual feel to it. We also
the VTX blade stop now.
Yes, exactly.
Sorry, I just noticed that.
Yeah, we also
I gotta test it.
We also addressed the auto rotation characteristics. So it was geared towards rather nice and generous for auto rotations. Now it's way more realistic and will punish you more for fucking it up. So blade stops happen quicker now, and they happen harder now. So you cannot float in at like plus 6 degrees collective anymore. It will just drop out of the sky like a rock, just like in real life. And what we also did, we nerfed VTX blades a bit because they used an airfoil that did not stall no matter what. And
yeah, they do feel better now.
Yeah, that for one made them completely overpowered in flight and would not enable them to blade stop at all. So you could basically auto in with plus 14 degrees collective RPM sitting at 500 and sailing in like like nothing ever happened. Yeah, we nerfed that. What else is new? Goblin Fireball that I'm flying currently, Goblin 480, and the
Goblin 480?
Yeah, Goblin 480, Logo 480, and the Goblin Black Thunder Sport. Goblin 480. That is not even a thing. Hey.
The new upcoming secret helicopter.
Funny thing is, this Fireball also has a battery quick release system that was never incorporated into the real thing. They apparently sent me an old CAD file.
That would have been cool if they did that.
Yeah.
New upgrade coming. I see it already.
So
the
3 new models
wave.
And complete revamp to rotor blades and flight physics for auto rotations. Additionally, couple new components for the Fireball and the 480 that can also be used in other helicopters of similar size. And we lowered the deadband on the controls, so it's now a global value that is set in your transmitter configuration, and we lowered it a bunch, about 50% lower than before.
Feels a lot better.
Yeah, I also noticed that it's way more precise around center. The Fireball was kind of unflyable before. Now we reduced that a lot. You have now 2.25% of your entire control throw deadband as default. Can easily lower it all the way down for all models just by changing your transmitter settings.
Cool.
And if you're flying in an Xbox controller, you can just bump it up all the way and still have some decent-ish centering. Probably not, but still, I don't advise flying this with an Xbox controller. But yeah, accuracy 204 is released. Next version 205 will focus on the Mac build, so Mac users stay tuned for that. It will also have the Synergy 516, the Synergy 766, Proto 700 Nitro, and possibly a 380, depending on how far Sage gets with that.
Yeah. Yep. I'm guessing for, depending on when everything else is ready for the next build, I'm guessing everybody's going to have the 516, the Protos Nitro, and the 766 to look forward to.
Yep. So I think that should be it for accuracy. Do we have any other news?
Yeah, I think that'll do it. I can't think of anything else. Yeah. Rail tail blades are coming soon too. Due to all the other fun Synergy stuff.
Oh, so Sage, you had a topic for us to discuss today.
Yeah, I did. And now I'm just curious. I don't do this all the time, but there are definitely instances in the past that I've found myself doing it to great benefit. And I'm talking about flight planning and talking about figuring out what type of flight routine I want to fly before I go out to the field and actually practicing a rote maneuver list that's not just free flying, because for the most part what I do is I just pack up, go to the field, and fly. I don't often think about these days what I'm going to do, what I want to work on when I get there. I just go to fly. But about 2 years ago, I participated in a competition called the Pacific Northwest 3D Trials, and in the 6 to 8 months leading up to that competition, every single time I went to the field, which was, I believe, 4 times a week. I was making a point to go to the field. Every single time I flew a set maneuver list, every single flight, and it really made a massive difference in my flying, specifically for the maneuvers I was practicing. But just overall, I felt the discipline helped me a lot. Have you guys found yourselves in a position where you need to do flight planning? And if so, did it help you?
John, do you want to go first? You want me to?
Sure. So I usually do not do flight planning. But when I participated in Heli Masters 2013, I actually had to do a lot of it because we had to do set maneuvers, a flight to known music that was provided by the organizers of the event. Still the stupidest thing I've ever seen during a competition, but oh well. And we had our own flight to music. So yeah, for one, I had to look for my set maneuvers, practice these. I had to look at that given music, which all of the songs I still hate to this day and cannot listen to at all. And I had to think of my own music routine.
I don't think I asked you this when we tried this episode before. What songs did you choose? Do you remember?
I chose
Darude Sandstorm.
Wow. Oh my god, that was like years ago. Oh god. I know I had some part of the Big Bang Theory theme song in there.
Why is it not on video somewhere? Or is it?
I suppose there is one, but I can see if I find it.
Please, we have to find a video and include it in here. I need to see this.
I think I did a piro flip loop to that part. Other songs I know, probably stuff that flowed well to music. It's always hard to coordinate a flight to music, so oh well. I think it even overlapped with the known music, but I'm not sure. I think there are videos of both flights I did, but I'll have to look it up. Yeah, anyway, let's start with set maneuvers. We had I think I did a couple easy ones like pyro funnel and 4-point TikTok. Then there were also like stupid kind of things like twin peaks and rolling sunglasses, which were a major annoyance to do with the Logo 600.
I like Twin Peaks.
Just flying it with a fireball here, Twin Peaks kind of looked okay. You cannot even see the helicopter, especially because I'm recording in 720p. I cannot even see the helicopter myself.
So, what were your advanced maneuvers?
Yeah, I mean, there were some things I have never done before, like rolling sunglasses were 2 rolling loops with a transition and a reversal in the middle. And well, I went out and every first battery of the day I just practiced these set maneuvers in the order I would fly them in the competition. That could take up to 10 minutes per flight just to get them down. I mean, set maneuvers did not even go bad for me. I think I was like 13th in the set maneuvers from like 40 people.
That's not bad.
Yeah, absolutely not, especially for my first competition.
Yeah.
And flights to music were just a clusterfuck. I mean, I did some planning on my own music. I mean, that one flowed way better than the given music because I just knew what I was gonna fly to the songs I chose.
Yeah.
And the given music was
I think it's easier to choreograph. I would think it'd be easier to pick because you're able to pick something more that fits your style in the first place.
Yep. Yeah, so I went out daily like basically 2 months before the competition. Flew 4 batteries every day, 1 set maneuvers, and the remaining 3 flights to music, giving 2 flights to whatever flight to music I thought I'd have to practice more. Yeah, that went on for 2 months. And it was exhausting and annoying as hell, so that's one of the reasons I do not compete, because the preparation just sucks. I mean, sure, you get to fly in a competition and stuff, but it's not worth it in my opinion. But what I was getting to, why the flights to music were a clusterfuck, I was well prepared, I knew how to fly my stuff, and I could have done well, but I had like 1 stripped main gear because I was too stupid to set the gear mesh right. And on loud music, you are not aware of your gear stripping because you don't hear it. You simply don't hear it. You just notice it when, like, I was doing pyro TikToks at that point, and the RPMs were they dropped immediately. And rip helicopter. I crashed. I rebuilt with parts from my second 600, which was not as well equipped as the first one, though, electronics wise. I did a second flight, and guess what? One of the linkages from one of the swash linkages failed, and I had to land outside the perimeter of the flying field because I could not get it back in time. And I think one of the flights was counted, one was not. I ended up coming 16th in the overall judgment thingy.
Could have been worse.
Yeah, 16 out of 40 is not bad for having 2
That's really
crashes,
not bad at all.
essentially. So yeah, was kind of happy with that, but decided to never compete seriously again. I mean, we had the indoor fun fly every January, and I decided most of the time I would compete, but on the last time I'd rather be the judge and just watch people fly, knowing that I didn't have to do shit, didn't have to prepare anything. And I mean, judging is fun. Judging is genuinely fun. And
I would have a hard time judging. I definitely could never judge a competition to music because I generally don't. I generally feel like the choreography in our hobby could step itself up about 15 notches, even from some of the best of them. I just don't. There's a lot of times where I'm just like, yeah, he's just flying and there's music playing. There's nothing about this that actually cohesively ties it together. I could never judge flying to music. Mm-hmm. Couldn't do it.
I
remember after Urcha.
2011 to 2013 was the apex of music and freestyle flights.
Well, I just remember this last year, us talking about after Urcha the music flighting, the competition, talking about who we thought did the best, and like, you know, some of that flying to music it's not always apparent, you know, exactly what the pilot was going for.
Yep. I remember Jamie doing fucking incredible.
Yeah, his was extremely, extremely technical, but it just had like almost no wow factor whatsoever, in my opinion. That was my opinion. That's, of course, my opinion.
It wasn't like to music, it was just an impressive flight.
It was like so technical. And it was really good.
It fit the music. I think it fit the music, but...
It did. His flight fit the music the best, in my opinion, but it just was boring. Like,
yeah, that's what I mean. Like it like was to the music, but not like what everyone wanted, like to the music.
Yeah.
I'd rather watch a technical flight than a WoW flight, because technical is 10 times more entertaining than WoW to me.
Like we said before, it's Urcha. If you're not out there just trying to destroy it, no one cares at Urcha, because that's all it is.
Yeah, I don't know. I struggle with that because I like watching the really technical flying, like up close or whatever, but if I'm having to watch it through a YouTube video, you better freaking be able to wow me. You know what I mean? It's just like for me to be like, yeah, that was an amazing flight. It's not the same. It's not the same. Because in real life, and this is nothing against like Kyle Stacy, right? But in real life, I don't like to stand next to him when he flies. There's no chance that anything's going to happen, really. But it's just like,
I mean, yeah, there is.
It's freaking intense. Yeah, I mean,
There's a high chance something's gonna happen with all like those guys that fly so close.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I just you see it happen enough that it's just you tell yourself that the chances are low, I guess, or whatever. But I could easily, from what I've watched on YouTube videos from his demos and stuff, I would love to watch Jamie in person because he doesn't make everybody fear for their lives. But if I'm safely behind a YouTube video, send it. You know?
Hardest I'm safe. Send it.
We should probably get back on track with this.
Sure.
Flight planning. Yeah, so competitions, you obviously have to plan flights, because if you go in without planning, then no bueno. Definitely no bueno.
Yeah. It's something I'm not planning on doing any competitions this year, but it's something I kind of actually want to get back to a little bit, because that period of time in which I was doing that was the greatest period of growth I've had as far as my skill set in the hobby. No question.
That's interesting, because when I try to choreograph flights, like just not choreograph, just think of a fixed order of maneuvers that I would do as a kind of freestyle flight, which then is not really freestyle anymore. And it never worked out. It just looked so lame and boring. I'm way better off. At least I'm way better off just flying and doing stuff the way it comes along.
Yeah, my problem is, and what I've gotten into, especially this year, and a lot of that was just not probably actually flying enough, but I've gotten into a rut where there's stuff I can do well enough that like I can just do it over and over and over again. It looks pretty cool. It's fun to do, but it's just repetitive. My flying has gotten so repetitive, and to break out of that, I think I need to do some planning and force myself to practice some other stuff at the field.
Yeah,
No, I agree with that. My flights. Go ahead. Before.
Okay. What I do to not get repetitive, like in my normal flying when nobody's watching, I don't care really. But when we're shooting a video, I try to think of like 3 or 4 maneuvers that I want to keep in the back of my head to incorporate into that flight. I don't know when, I don't know how, and I don't know from what transition, but I try to incorporate these, and that works out generally quite well for me when I just get 4 maneuvers already fixed that look good, and then usual stuff, piro flips, piro pogo, funnels. You do that once and then you're done with it, and try to avoid it for the rest of the flight. Works out quite well-ish for me. You will typically still see me do something twice a flight, but not that often. So yeah, that's probably it for the extent of flight planning that I do, really.
Nick, what about you? We haven't heard too much from you on this topic.
I don't really plan flights. I kind of go out there and just go for it. But like you said, Sage, how you're kind of getting repetitive. My flights are definitely doing that. I've actually lately started going to do more like lower head speed stuff, like 1500 to 1700. I'm not doing 2000 anymore.
That'll change your whole game plan right there without doing anything else.
Yeah, it's definitely changed how I've been flying lately, and it's nice getting like a 6.5 minute flight out of the 700.
Yeah.
Doing just fun, relaxing, playing around with it. Not going out there and just beating on it the whole time, just trying to work with the low head speed stuff. It's kind of changed. It was like a nice change of pace, I guess.
Yeah.
And it shows that you really don't need 2000 head speed to do 99% of the shit that everyone does.
Oh, dude, I've been saying that for 5 years now. Like,
yeah, it just proves it over and over. Each time you go out there and do it, it's like, wow, it still rolls so fast and everything.
Oh, yeah.
But there's no point to run 2000 or above even.
Noise and I mean, there is a shit your pants factor that happens, but
Yeah. It's like the speed factor of everything, but it's like it'll still do all that low stuff
oh
the
yeah,
same.
oh yeah.
Except when you go like really, really low. Then it.
I mean, I haven't.
I
I
mean-
need to get down to 1 pack to do that, but I've been
Yeah.
too lazy to make another Y to get to my ESC for 1 pack, but I just haven't done it.
What plugs are you using?
What?
What connectors are you using?
What packs?
Oh, the 5000 Opti, or not Opti, Gens Ace,
Are you
45
deaf?
Cs.
I asked what connectors you are using.
Oh, what
EC5.
connectors?
Your mic's cutting out. That's why we couldn't hear you.
Yeah, you cut out like
Oh.
all 3 times you asked that.
Like each time you'd say, "What are you using?" I'm like, "I just told you."
Whoops. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, EC5s just require 1 jumper.
What?
1 jumper. Just make battery side EC5 and connect both connectors together.
Yeah. Well, I have like a Y off my ESC, so I need to make a Y for the battery to get to the ESC.
No, you can
What the
just jumper
fuck?
close that. You can basically take an EC5 connector and short it, like a battery style one. Make an EC5 connector and short it, and just use that and plug that into the other battery connector off your ESC.
Oh, like just okay. I
Nick
see what
is
you mean. I
electric.
never
You don't
even
need a
thought about
Y, you
that.
just need a jumper. Yep,
Oh.
exactly.
Nick
Okay.
is
Just-
being smart again.
Make it
I've never
make
even
it
thought about
with
something
the
like
loop
that.
of wire just big enough to be a finger pull. So
Yeah, so you can
yeah.
just like hold on to it.
Yep,
Oh,
pop it right
that's-
out of there.
All right, that's even easier then. I only
Yep.
need 2. Or
Yeah,
one,
because
technically.
if you do
one.
that, it cuts your RPM in half and also removes like 700 grams, 800 grams from your helicopter. And that is really what changes your flying style. When you really have to think about what can I fly, what can I not fly? How do I have
Yeah.
to do this differently? And that is
How-
really what teaches you to fly.
How
everyone
big can
can
I
smack
make
at
this loop before I
2000.
hit the ground? I've seen that happen.
Everyone can smack at 2000 RPM. It's not hard. You have power to infinity. But if you cut it down to 1000, bit above maybe, you really got to think about what you're doing. And that is like the flying where you learn the most about your helicopter, how to control your helicopter. And that is really also where you have to plan ahead in terms of flight planning. Like, plan ahead what you're going to do next, because you cannot simply just power out of it.
Right. Yeah, so yeah, that's a good thing. And I probably should do some of that this year, some success 700 flying.
That is why I'm so excited for the E700 with the sped up tail gears, because it's just like throw a 6S and fly like a 690 until I get a 690, because I'm probably going to get annoyed with the torque tube.
Yeah.
It is kind of fun when you're doing like the low head speed stuff and you'll like go out and come back and you just kind of overspeed it in and it only gets to like 1800.
like
but
a
it
normal
sounds
head
like it's
speed.
overspeeding. Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
oh
but
look, it's an overspeed.
it's just
but
going
it's
to
really
normal
not.
RPM.
Yeah, it's like and it's super easy from like a low RPM to make it go up. It's like oh, I didn't even do anything and it's climbing RPM.
Yep. Drag rises squared to velocity, so
Yeah,
really easy to
what he said. That makes sense if you don't think about it.
But yeah, that's pretty much what you should do to get better. Just fly low RPM. It's really
Yeah.
the things that teach you how a helicopter behaves.
See,
You're
so
gonna
that's
do
what-
it. Start higher though.
Yeah,
Yes.
for sure.
Get used to it.
That's what I need to do this year, is to do a little more planning for what I want to do, you know, when I go out to the field, and do a little bit more low head speed flying. And I think that'll really help me a lot.
Yeah, because little head speed stuff, it's actually really fun once you get used to it.
So what's our conclusion on flight planning, right? It's not necessary, but it helps you a lot. And if you're planning on competing in anything, it probably is necessary.
Yeah, and if like you want to like progress yourself and not get stuck like on an ice block, you definitely have to plan stuff. Otherwise, you're just gonna do the same thing every flight. Maybe in a
Yeah.
different order, but it'll be the same thing.
Yep, and that's totally been me this year. So I
Yeah.
get that.
Oh,
I mean,
and
that's
if
me
you
besides the inverted autos. Those I learned.
Yeah,
Which,
you did push
does that even
this year.
count?
and if you just
Yeah,
want to learn a new maneuver, then just sometimes you just have to dedicate an entire battery to that maneuver.
Yes, that's true too.
Like
That's true.
attempt the
Yeah.
maneuver 10 times, do something different to get your head free, and then get back to the maneuver and do it another 10 times until you nail it.
It does take some planning, though. I mean, it's just like don't go to the field without doing the sim work, But
Yep.
if you're going to go to the field, I guess it's worth it to take some time and actually practice.
Yep.
Takes a little
that
forethought.
is- And do not rely on rescue. Rescue sucks. Rescue is not gonna save you in 50% of all cases.
But
Might be a
like I
little
put
high,
that in my flight plan. Use rescue at the end of it.
If
Oh,
rescue piles you in, or you don't reach the switch in time but could have saved it manually, you're gonna be so fucking annoyed. I know this secondhand. There was one guy at my
So
flying
hold
field.
on, wait.
Huh.
What does this have to do with flight planning? Because we've already talked about this story. I'm guaranteed because we had an episode about rescue.
Because flight
Like,
planning
you're about to start ranting.
flight planning also involves knowing how to get out of butchered maneuvers.
It
That's why I
does.
said start higher.
Because if you have a plan on how to get out of stupid situations, you're not gonna need rescue and you're not gonna crash.
You know what the plan is to get out of situations? 1, don't hit the ground, and 2, don't fuck up. That's
Boy,
the best
you guys-
plan.
You guys
Exactly.
are hopeful.
That's how we do it in the real helicopters. Don't fuck up and don't hit the ground.
And don't push
There
forward
you
on a
go.
That's
cyclic.
all you gotta remember.
It's easy
Okay,
rules.
no rant about the guy at my field.
Yeah, no, because you've already told it in an episode. I know you have.
The things you remember. Wow.
We had a whole episode about that.
Wow.
So that's flight planning in a nutshell.
Do you guys want to cover a maneuver real quick? I got one in mind, and I can give the whole spiel.
I was just
Yeah,
gonna
sure.
bring that up, but if you have one, perfect.
I do, and I've even got the best way to learn it too, because this is one I went through. This is something that I had to learn. This is one of the first things that I really pushed myself to learn that was above and beyond the basics, and I'm talking about just pirouetting circles.
Pirouetting circles. Nick, stop doing whatever you're doing.
I was
So-
trying to spectate Sage, but it's not letting me.
Or circuits, circles. I don't know. Some people like to call them circles. Some people like to call them circuits. But there's a very, very easy way to learn how to do this. And you just start doing your favorite circuits, right hand or left hand, whichever way you want to go. And you start by every time you are directly away from yourself, turn the tail 90 degrees and just keep it going. Okay, and keep doing full circuits like this. So now I'm tail first. Now I'm side in. I'm going to go all the way back around, side in. I'm going to keep going this way until I'm really comfortable doing all of these and switching between all of them. Right? Being able to do them individually and being able to switch between all of them. And then I'm going to get myself going back into just that forward heading circle again. I'm going to slowly start feeding it in rudder until I'm making the tail transitions, the 90-degree transitions are happening at the 90-degree points on the circle. Right, so now I'm directly away from me. It's transitioning again. Outside,
Beating up.
in front of me. Yeah, it's hard to talk and keep it really the same. But and then so this just gets you comfortable in all the orientations, and you can just start feeding in constant rudder, and you'll find that it almost is like a steering maneuver. Your cyclic stick will follow a pattern pretty much the whole time around. You'll be putting in basically as the tail turns, you'll be giving it small bumps, just to keep it going around. I guess I could turn on my transmitter, visual.
It really is just a circle on the cyclic, just as any other pirouetting move. So I'm just gonna add something to this. There are natural and unnatural directions to this. So if you're doing
yes,
this,
there are. I was only covering natural direction.
Yeah, if you're doing
Sorry, go ahead,
this,
Jonas.
flying, for example, an upright clockwise circle, you're feeding in right rudder to keep it to keep the tail on track. So if you're pirouetting to the right, you're essentially already giving that rudder input, but just a bit stronger. So it's kind of the natural direction of that circle to give right rudder. If you start giving a left rudder, though, it becomes a real fuck up, and I cannot for the life figure out how to do this. It's just absolutely terrible to do them in an unnatural direction. So I suppose I should be able to. Yeah, it just feels completely wrong to do a upright counterclockwise circuit giving right rudder. Inverted, it's just the other way around. Counterclockwise, inverted circuits are natural to right rudder, and clockwise are natural to left rudder. So make sure that you start with a natural direction for this, but you're probably gonna do that anyway because preferred pirouetting direction usually corresponds to preferred circle direction. So yeah, that's just something to look out for, that you don't try to start with a unnatural direction and cannot get it figured out, because it's like 10 times worse. For me, at least.
It is much freaking harder to fly a pirouetting circle in the unnatural position, or unnatural direction, but it's not that bad either. It takes me a minute to like get into the groove of it. Yeah, I lost it quick, but once you get into the groove of it, it's fun. It's weird, but it totally feels backwards too. But anyway, cool stuff.
So that's that done.
Is there anything else to add? I don't think so. That was quick.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
no, I think we're probably.
Don't fuck it up.
Probably good.
Don't fuck it up. Know what you're doing, and you'll be fine.
No.
Again,
Thanks for joining
the
us.
rules of life. Don't fuck up and don't hit the ground.
Words to live by from Nick McCoy.
Damn right.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. This was a fun one to re-record. I think I'm glad we did it.
About
a lot
a billion
better
times
this
better
time.
than last time.
Yeah.
Last time was just me ranting about stupid naming schemes of Airbus helicopters. Ranting about all
something
kinds
else.
of
We ranted about something else, so it just made us like, yeah, we're not releasing this.
What was that though? Can't even remember.
I don't know. We're not even going to rant about it anymore. So, thanks for joining us. If you haven't liked us on Facebook, or you should have already, 'cause that's where we keep everyone up to date. What else do we have? If you have any hate mail this week, it goes to Johnny.
Why me
emails
again?
Are in the description. Because you. That's
Because
why.
you.
Okay.
That's why. It's all the reason we need.
We took a secret vote yesterday.
Yeah. It was for having to re-record this because of your rant about Airbus. It's your fault. Otherwise, I think that's it. So thanks for joining us.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye, people. See ya.